Is China's global influence growing through a debt trap strategy? This is a question that has been on many minds recently. The concept is straightforward. China extends enormous credit to other nations, and when these countries are unable to repay, China is in a position to demand economic or political concessions. Take, for example, Sri Lanka and Djibouti, two nations that have found themselves in deep water after accepting Chinese investments. The question is this strategy intentional, and what are its global implications? Take Sri Lanka, for instance. This island nation, known for its rich history and stunning landscapes, also holds a tale of debt and diplomacy. At the heart of the story is the Hambantota Port Project, a strategic maritime gateway in the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka had high hopes for the port, envisioning it as a driver for economic growth. But the port's hefty price tag led the country to borrow heavily, and much of this debt was owed to China. As the port unfortunately failed to generate the expected returns, Sri Lanka found itself in a precarious position, unable to repay its escalating debts. This is where the plot thickens. Faced with a mounting debt crisis, Sri Lanka was forced to make a difficult decision. In lieu of repayment, the country leased the Hambantota port to China for a staggering 99 years. This move effectively handed over sovereignty of a key piece of infrastructure to a foreign power. The implications of this are profound. The lease not only grants China strategic control over a vital maritime route, but it also raises questions about the sovereignty and financial independence of nations that find themselves ensnared in similar debt situations. Sri Lanka's case is a stark example of what some consider China's debt trap diplomacy. Moving to Africa, let's examine Djibouti. This small but strategically placed country, nestled at the junction of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, holds a significant allure for global powers. It's a gateway to the Suez Canal, a crucial maritime route that sees a significant chunk of the world's trade passage through it. Now enter China. Over the past decade, China has been investing heavily in Djibouti's infrastructure. From building a military base to financing ports, railways, and free trade zones, China has been weaving an intricate web of influence in the region. But these investments have not come without a price. Djibouti's debt to China has been skyrocketing, reaching a staggering 70% of the country's GDP. The worry here is not just about the mounting debt, but also the potential risk of Djibouti losing control of strategic assets. This situation echoes the experience of Sri Lanka, which was forced to hand over the control of its Hambantota port to China for a 99-year lease due to its inability to repay Chinese loans. The situation in Djibouti is a stark reminder of the potential pitfalls of China's Belt and Road Initiative. It underscores the pressing need for countries to carefully assess the long-term impacts of accepting large-scale Chinese investments. Djibouti, like Sri Lanka, is caught in the conundrum of debt, raising questions about China's intentions. These examples raise a crucial question. What does this mean for the world? China's alleged debt trap diplomacy could potentially trigger significant geopolitical shifts. Imagine a world where the balance of power is tilted in favor of one nation, due to its strategic economic foothold in numerous countries. This isn't just about economics, it's about sovereignty and the right of nations to self-govern without external interference. The issue of sovereignty is particularly pertinent. When a nation is indebted to another, it may find itself making concessions that compromise its autonomy. This can lead to a subtle form of neo-colonialism, where the debtor nation becomes politically and economically subservient to its creditor. China's strategy has been met with a fair share of controversy. Critics argue that it's a calculated move to extend China's sphere of influence, exploiting the vulnerabilities of developing nations. They see it as a form of economic imperialism, where China uses debt as a tool to gain leverage over other countries. However, it's essential to note that this is not a one-sided story. Some countries willingly enter into these agreements, viewing them as an opportunity for development and growth. Yet, the potential risks and implications cannot be ignored. As we delve deeper into the 21st century, the global dynamics continue to evolve. China's approach to international relations, particularly its alleged debt trap diplomacy, is a significant part of this narrative. As China's global influence continues to grow, the world watches on with a mix of anticipation and apprehension.